Hello, JC De Guzman here for our top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis for May 21, 2019. And today I'll be talking about my technical analysis, overall sentiment, and trade setups for Globe, URC, AGI, Meralco, Cebu Pacific, PHEN, CHP, PHA, SurePass, and the last one will be BSC. So most of these, or maybe we have 4 to 5. How many index companies do we have here? Maybe 4 to 5. So I'm going to begin the discussion with Globe. Okay, so Globe closed on May 21 at 2,114 pesos per share. Support sits near 2,000 pesos level, while resistance is near 2,147. I like the stance of the foreign investors today because they registered the net foreign buying worth 165 million pesos. And let's see, foreign investors have been on a daily net foreign buying mode for how many trading days? If we're not going to count the small net foreign selling amount last May 16, if we are not going to include that, then if that did not happen, then Globe would have been in a daily net foreign buying mode for about 12 straight trading days. Well, that is again if we are not going to count the insignificant amount of half a million pesos worth of net foreign selling last May 16. Nonetheless, uh, Globe managed to break above the 2000 level after so many attempts to to position higher than the 2000 level with a significant volume. And it's just a bonus, it's just a bonus that the foreign investors registered a significant amount of net foreign buying worth 165 million pesos today. And this ascendant price has made MACD just to continue its bullish trajectory above the signal line, and it has been doing that for several weeks already. The DMI histogram confirms the strong upward momentum. In other words, this ascendant price of Globe is still in a very strong upward momentum category. Okay, so I just also want to emphasize that RSI is already approaching the classical overbought level. So, for those of you who have been trading or who have been trading Globe for a while now, you may want to consider locking in some profits near the 2147 level. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart of Globe. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, so the dominant range is obviously registered closer to the intraday high than the intraday low, and that's between 2086 all the way to 2114. So I think the 4 criteria that we are looking for are all present on Globe. Globe closed above its volume weighted average price of 2004.67 because it closed today at 2114. Okay, so that's obviously higher than its VWAP. So if you still have Globe and you are thinking if it is logical to top up on your shares, then you can go ahead and do that because you have a data driven reason. Those 4 criteria, those 4 points that we always monitor are present on the chart of Globe as far as its price action today is concerned. Okay, so I am bullish on Globe. Now, if you would like to know, or if you are planning to enter a new position, just a new position on Globe, meaning to say you have not had Globe and you are thinking if it makes sense for you to enter a new position to do a test buy first thing in the morning by the next trading day, I would suggest first that you calculate your reward to risk ratio. If you're happy with your reward to risk ratio, then you can go ahead and do a test buy within the most dominant within the dominant range that I have shown you a few seconds ago on the trade and volume distribution chart. If you would like to know what this reward to risk ratio is, please go back to our quick start guide and read again that portion where I discussed reward to risk ratio with examples and some formula. Okay, so next we have URC. This is another index company, and just in case you are wondering if my pieces, if these pieces of advice that I'm giving you are for long-term investing or not, FYI, this video is for short-term trading. We have a different tab, we have a different discussion for long-term investing, and you will find that on the investment guide for long-term investors tab. Okay, I repeat, these daily videos are for short-term trading purposes only. Okay, going back to URC. URC closed on May 21 at 158.8. The support that I'm seeing is near 151.65. That's a midterm support. The major support really is at 142.2. Major resistance is near 167.3. There's a midterm resistance near 159.6. This one. So URC also closed above its VWAP. I like the volume, it's bullish. Foreign investors, however, sold about 26 million pesos worth of shares today. And unfortunately, MACD is still below the signal line. I think MACD will only cross above the signal line once URC crosses above 167.3. Okay. Nonetheless, let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart of URC for us to find out if the dominant range is indeed closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Well, on the trade distribution chart, it seems that the dominant range is around in the middle area of the chart. But if we are going to take a closer look, a careful look on this chart, then we would say you will see that majority of these trades are parked towards the closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Okay, and I can also see the same on the volume distribution chart. So I'm going to give this bonus point for the bulls. Okay, based on the trade and volume distribution charts of URC. The dominant range, let's remind ourselves that URC closed today at 158.8. It's the intraday high. Okay, now just in case URC will not sustain its ascent above 158, and if it will give us a bearish start by the opening bell, I would suggest that you monitor the price between 154 to 156. Okay, somewhere within that range. Nonetheless, I am bullish on URC in the short term. So if you have had URC below or close to 151, you have a data-driven reason to top up on your current shares. Now, if you don't have URC but are planning to but you're planning to trade the name from a fresh start, again, as usual, calculate your reward to risk ratio first. Only when you are happy with your reward to risk ratio should you entertain the idea of doing a test buy within the dominant range based on our trade and volume distribution chart. Okay, so that's my overall sentiment and pieces of advice for URC. Next in the list we have AGI. AGI closed okay. AGI closed at 14.74. It just managed to break out a little bit up higher than its midterm resistance at 14.68. Okay, now the major resistance is near 16.4. Support is near, let's adjust this one, support is near 13.3. Midterm resistance is at 14.75 or 14.8. Okay, AGI, by the way, closed above its VWAP. It's already moving above its 10 SMA. MACD is poised to cross above the signal line as well. So that's a formation of a bullish convergence between the MACD and the signal line. Okay, meanwhile, foreign investors did not register significant participation on AGI today, but they ended the day with a net foreign buying worth 3 million pesos. That's why it's an insignificant amount. Okay, volume is bullish for me. Although on the DMI, it shows here that the bulls have not completely taken control of the game yet. Okay, but there's an ongoing transition between the bears and the bulls, especially if this ascendant price will continue higher than 14.7 or 14.8. Okay, let's take a look at AGI's trade and volume distribution chart. Okay, so we see here that the dominant range is closer to the intraday high than the intraday low, and that's between 14.2 to 14.74. So I am bullish on AGI in the short term. You also have a data-driven reason to top up on your current shares if you have had AGI, especially close to 13.3 or 13.4. Now, if you are planning to enter a new position on AGI, knowing that the major support is near 13.3 or 13.4 and the major resistance is near 16.4, I think you still have uh, a relatively acceptable reward to risk ratio here. So you can also go ahead and do a test buy within the dominant range that I've shown you a few seconds ago. I am bullish on AGI in the short term. Next stock in the list, we have Meralco. Meralco closed today at 374 pesos per share. It closed above its VWAP of 368.13. It also closed above its 10 SMA. So these signs that I've been telling you are all bullish signals. I also like the green volume bar. It's almost equal to its 10-day volume average. Meanwhile, foreign investors did not appreciate all of this bullishness today because they registered a net foreign selling worth 43 million pesos today. On the other hand, even though MACD is still below the signal line, I'm already seeing a formation of a bullish convergence between the MACD and the signal line. Meanwhile, the DMI, the positive DMI has already crossed above the negative DMI. So that's a positive or a bullish transition between these two lines. Okay, now let's take a look at the uh, trade and volume distribution chart of Meralco. Take note, it closed today at 374 pesos per share. So the dominant range here is closer to the intraday high than the intraday low, and that's between 369 to 374. Just in case Meralco will give a slow start at the opening bell, or maybe if it will give us a negative start at the opening, I would suggest then that you adjust your waiting position between 360 all the way to 364 per share. Okay. Nonetheless, I am bullish on Meralco in the short term. You also have uh, those four criteria as your data-driven reason either to top up or to enter a new trade on Meralco. Just please make sure in whichever stock you're going to trade, make sure that you don't just plan you just don't do the initial planning. Make sure that you include the trailing stop loss in your overall plan. So I mentioned trailing stop loss again. If this is something new to you, please go back to our quick start guide for its definition, the formula that I've written, and the examples on how to calculate your reward, your trailing stop loss rather. Okay, so I'm bullish on Meralco in the short term. Okay, next stock in the list we have Cebu Pacific. Cebu Pacific closed today at 88 pesos per share. It also closed higher than its VWAP of 87.53. I also like this stall bullish volume today. MACD has just continued its ascent above the signal line. These are all bullish signals for me. And um, by the way, RSI is already approaching the classical oversold or overbought level. So I would suggest that you monitor or consider locking in some profits, maybe by selling a few tranches near the major support at 91.6. Okay, this one. Major resistance rather. The major support is near 80.8 right here. Let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart of Cebu Pacific. So the dominant range here is somewhere in the middle. It's somewhere between 87.75, or no, not that one. Between 87.9 to 88 pesos per share. If we are going to be very technical here, I would still give the point I would still give the point to the bulls, because this one is majority of which is parked towards the upper half upper half of the chart. So it's a bullish day for Cebu Pacific as well, based on my trade and volume distribution chart. So my overall sentiment for Cebu Pacific is bullish. In fact, foreign investors, although it's not that significant, they bought about 9 million pesos worth of shares, or they registered the net foreign buying worth 9 million pesos today. So you can top up or enter a new position by doing a test buy on Cebu Pacific within that range that I mentioned on the trade and volume distribution chart. Okay. Next we have PHEN. PHEN closed today at 1.99. Just be careful though, because it did not close higher than its VWAP. In fact, it closed equal to its VWAP of 1.99. Even so, the last price is still above the 10 SMA, and I'm seeing a perfect bullish alignment among its three SMAs. I'd also like to highlight the bullishness of today's volume, since it's a green one and it's higher than its 10-day volume average. On the MACD, it's still a bullish one. Okay, it's still a bullish one. It's still higher than its signal line. Although I can sense here that traders of PHEN thought and decided to lock in some profits near 2.16, the major resistance, by the way. That was the day when RSI entered officially the classical overbought level. So you might as well want to consider locking in some profits near the major resistance at 2.16. Major support is near 1.38, but there's a midterm support position near 1.64, which is in confluence with, almost in confluence with the 38.2% up Fibonacci uh, retracement. Okay, now let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart of PHEN. The dominant range is between 1.95 all the way to 2.03. It's technically speaking, most of which, whether on the trade side or on the volume side, I would say that it's still closer to the upper half of our chart, which is the intraday high. Okay, it's closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Therefore, uh, as far as our 10 SMA, the conditions of our 10 SMA and combo, 10 SMA and MACD combo are concerned, and as far as the presence of all 4 points are concerned, you have all data-driven reasons to top up or to enter a new trade on PHEN. Just make sure that you know where your trailing stop loss is, so that when just in case the market will choose to contradict our data-driven bullish forecast for PHEN, at least you know what to do. You won't be clueless. You will not find yourself clueless on what to do should the market decides to to choose to be a contrarian in this case. But let's hope for the best. But make sure you are ready for the worst. Okay? So I am bullish on FAN in the short term, but my advice is to consider locking in some profits near the major resistance at 2.16. If you don't have FAN and if you are planning to enter a new trade on this stock, please make a very careful decision, because this current candlestick is already closer to the major resistance than the major support. So mean to say you have um, a thinner potential reward than your potential risk. Okay? What you wish to see whenever you calculate your reward to risk ratio, just to make this clear, is to see a bigger potential reward and a smaller potential risk. Okay? So next we have okay, I already showed you the trade and volume distribution chart of FEN. Next we have CHP. CHP closed today at 2.6. That's already lower than its 10 SMA. Okay, I'm also seeing a bearish volume bar. It also closed, well, I already mentioned that it closed below the 10 SMA, and it also closed below its VWAP of 2.64. I'm already seeing a formation of a bearish convergence between the positive and the negative DMI lines. Okay, let's see the MACD. MACD is still moving above the signal line, but for today's descent in price, the MACD line is already downward sloping, so to speak. Okay, that's a semi-bearish sentiment. There's a semi-bearish sentiment that I'm seeing on the MACD's histogram, but nonetheless, what surprises me is that foreign investors are still uh, moving, or they're still on a net foreign buying mode. In fact, they have been buying CHP for, let me count this, for 13 trading days straight. Okay, so they have been bullish on CHP at least for the past 2 to 3 weeks. Let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart of CHP here. So the dominant range is between 2.6 to 2.68. It's closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. My advice is that you sell on strength. Mean to say, should CHP still recover a bit higher than 2.6, make sure that you consider locking in some profits near 2.70 to 2.9. Okay, 2.70 to 2.9. Now, if you don't have CHP, that's good. I think that's good. My suggestion is that you wait for the appearance of those 4 points that we always check. What are those? What are those? The last candlestick should be green. The last price should be higher than the VWAP. Volume should be green and higher than the 50% of the stock's 10-day volume average at least. And the fourth one is that the dominant range should be closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. And when all those four are present, then you can do a test buy, but not for now, because those four are not present, are not completely present. Okay, and they are not present at all four are not present, they are all absent. So it's all the more that you should not hurry in entering a new position on CHP. Okay, I am bearish on CHP in the short term. Next, we have PHA. PHA closed today at 0.89, one fluctuation already below its previous support at 0.90, and that one is now acting as its resistance level. So the newest support is now pegged near 0.59, or you can say 0.60 if you would like to. Should PHA recover its position above 0.9, that will make 1.25 again as its uh, resistance area. Okay, let's take a look at MACD. MACD is still uh, moving above the signal line. Still, that's still a bullish stance for me as far as the position of the MACD above the signal line is concerned. However, if this bearishness in price will continue, we might be seeing quite strong downward sloping MACD poised to cross below the signal line. And that's what you would not want to see if you are trading PHA already. However, unfortunately, I am seeing a formation of a bearish convergence between the positive and the negative DMI lines, okay, or directional movement index lines. This is not good. This is not what you hope to see, especially if you have had PHA in your portfolio. It wouldn't be that much of a problem if you don't have PHA yet, because you're safe. You are on the sidelines. And speaking of which, I would advise that you don't enter a new trade on PHA just yet. Wait for the appearance of all four criteria before you consider doing a test buy. Okay, let me just show you the dominant range on the chart of PHA, and that's between 0.89 to 0.92. So that's bearish because it's closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. Next stock in the list, we have SurePass. SurePass closed today at 1.02. Here we go again with SurePass. Last week it went below 1.0 as aligned with my bearish forecast on SurePass, and it's now again poised to high five again with the support level at 0.92. Okay, it's already below its 10 SMA again, unfortunately. Okay, for SurePass, and foreign investors sold about 1 million pesos. They registered a net foreign selling worth almost 1 million pesos today. It's a bearish volume as well. It's a bearish volume for SurePass. Now let's see the ADX, or the average directional index. I'm seeing a high probability for SurePass to just trade the range between 0.92 and 1.35. It might just trade the range. So if you're going to ask me, do you like trading ranges? No, I don't. I like trading trends. There should be a trend and not just a range. Okay? What I'm trying to say, the stock should be trending already, and it's not only poised to register a range, so to speak. So unfortunately, based on a DMI histogram, I'm seeing a probability for SurePass to just trade a range and not register at a real trend just yet. Okay, among the investors of SurePass, it's obvious that uh, they are on in a period of time wherein they're still hoping that the price of SurePass will hold above 1.0, maybe 0.9 and above. But let's see. Um, the appetite of SurePass traders, of the traders of SurePass, to to raise the price higher than 1 peso per share is not that high. That's why it's just going up and down from 0.9 to 1.0 to 1.05. So anyway, my overall sentiment for SurePass is bearish, and let me just show you the dominant range. The dominant range based on its trade and volume distribution chart is between 1 peso or 1.01 all the way to 1.07. That's closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. Therefore, that's another reason why I am bearish on Surepass. So don't trade Surepass just yet. And by the looks of this chart of Surepass, I should not be giving any piece of advice for those who may still have Surepass. By now, you should not have this stock anymore in your portfolio. By now, ideally speaking, that is if you are following the methods that I've been giving you, especially when it comes to using a trading stop loss. Okay, don't trade Surepass just yet. Wait for the dust to settle down, and there's a possibility for the price to revisit the 1.0 or below level, or below 1 peso level. Okay. Okay, next we have BSC, the last stock in the list. BSC closed at 0.265. Support is at 0.26, and the resistance is in confluence with a 61.8% up Fibonacci extension at 0.2775. Okay, should the price break below 0.26, it will make 0.23 as its support level. Now, should it break higher, break above 0.2775, that will make 0.306 as its psychological resistance. Okay, now this red candlestick for today was not bearish enough for for MACD to bend towards the southward direction. So uh, it's still upward sloping. Okay, it's not yet downward sloping. Okay, so now, however, I am seeing a possible technical reason why BSC did not inch higher than 0.275. It was because it was possible that short-term traders of BSC saw that RSI was already close to its classical overbought level last May 20. So they locked in some profits. So right now, maybe they are all eavesdropping with each other, uh, trying to see if there's someone out there, if there's any market participant who is willing to buy a significant amount of shares for BSC higher than 0.275 before they will, before they will do the follow the leader technique. Okay, now let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart of BSC. So the dominant range is between 0.275, 0.265 rather, up to 0.27. So it's still the bigger line, or yeah, the bigger line is still closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. Therefore, I am bearish on BSC. Please, if you don't have BSC, don't do a test buy yet. Wait for the price to break below, preferably to break below, okay, and not just to touch the immediate resistance. Okay, wait for BSC to break below 0.26. If it does not break below 0.26, I personally don't find it attractive enough. I don't find it worth my time trading if it does not, if I won't be able to enter a new position lower than 0.26 in layman's terms. Okay, so there you go. I'm bearish on BSC. So you've heard my technical analysis, overall sentiment, and trade setups for these 10 stocks today. I'm hoping that through this video, you will be able to make an independent and a profitable trade decision based on your investment horizon and risk tolerance. Now, I'd like to mention that if you wish to be trained personally by me in a small group discussion, small group seminar, maybe about 20 to 30 people in the room, okay, 20 to 30, I would suggest that you visit the seminar section on our website, or simply go to www.equilis.com/seminars, and then you will find my advanced seminars. uh, I have one in Angeles City, Pampanga, Baguio City, Cebu City, Davao City, and I think there will be more. Maybe somewhere in, I think somewhere in CDO, somewhere in the south, Cavite or Laguna probably, somewhere in uh, let me just check again. Okay, what I'm sure of is that my calendar is already jam-packed until the end of the year, and you will be seeing lots of scheduled advanced seminars, maybe one in your area, one of these days. Okay, so book your ticket because every event is limited to 20 to 30 seats only. It is my deliberate intention to hold a very small group kind of seminars like this, so that I will have ample time, more than enough time, to ask every student, every participant, every seminar attendee one by one. Okay, so again, you've heard my analysis for today's top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis video. Again, my name is JC De Guzman. Have a great day.